It was a disaster because I had never been in a business. I didn't know what I was doing. So I just started a Facebook group with there was 200 of my friends. Recommendation and Professional Asian has never been about me. It's always been about the people in the community. It's like we got your back. We want to be your cheerleaders. Some people had 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of their business all come from my networks. That's huge. That is a life-changing amount. I really believe in supporting small businesses.
Just a note before we begin this podcast, shortly after we recorded this episode, Zamiha's husband sadly passed away. So please bear in mind and be considerate that this episode was actually recorded before that happened, and also send your best wishes to her and her family. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Welcome to the Bay HQ, where we inspire, connect and guide the next generation of British Asian entrepreneurs. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please remember to give us a 5-star review. Today we have with us Zamiha Desai, who's the founder of Recommendasian and Professional Asian. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. So good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So it's very freezing today. So we're recording this when there's snow outside.
I know, it's so unbelievably cold, but it's nice and cozy in here.
Yeah, it's getting warm in here already, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you're growing up, did you ever think that today you'd be running such a huge Facebook group that's helping so many people? Did you ever think you'd be doing your own thing like this?
Gosh, nobody could be more surprised than me. Growing up was just really normal. There was actually no internet when I was young. There was no Facebook. There was no Instagram. There was nothing like there is now. And I call myself like an accidental entrepreneur because I'd always worked all my life. I always pictured myself working all my life, and I was quite happy with that. But then when I started this Facebook group in 2016, it just snowballed. And I think I said to my husband that this is going somewhere and I don't know where, and I don't know where to take it and how it's going to happen. But I believe that something can happen. And so he said, okay, well, I'll support you. And I was 44? So it was later on in my life. I just went with it. And honestly, I'm actually really blessed. I feel so lucky and privileged to be part of what I'm doing.
Where did the initial idea come from?
So it started because I saw one of my friends wear a sari on multiple occasions, and I was actually just laughing at myself because I'm 43 years old. I still need to go to my mum's house to wear a sari. And she told me about this gadget that she bought, and it helps her pleat her sari. So I went home and I ordered it on Amazon, and it was like a life-changing moment. I know it's really small, but that independence of being able to actually put some clothes on that you can't normally was really massive for me. And I was born in the UK, and I just thought there's lots of British Asian women that probably are the same as me. They want to access their cultural heritage, and sometimes they don't know how to. So I just started a Facebook group with there was 200 of my friends, and I called it Recommendation because it was recommendations for Asians, which some people don't get. Some people have that Phoebe moment, it's like a penny dropping. Anyways, and then we started talking about skincare and lipsticks and domestic goddess stuff and recipes, and people started adding their friends, and before you know it, it was 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. I was going to work, and on the journey I'd get into the car park and I'd have loads of requests to join, and then I'd go to work and then have my coffee break. And I was every moment, this group was just growing and growing. And there was more and more questions and more people wanting stuff. It became a sanctuary for some women. They were talking about fertility issues and domestic abuse and, mental health, and as well as all the kind of other stuff. Where can I get eggless cakes from? Where can I get vegan this? Or where can I find a Hindu priest? Where can I get blessing? What are the differences between I'm a Hindu and I'm going to a Sikh funeral? What do I wear? What's the protocol? All these questions that Asian women could just ask each other and get a response. And it's just it was phenomenal. It was beyond what I expected.
And when you took those 6 months to try to really focus on that, what did you do there? Because obviously you said you're doing it at the same time as your day job. What was your plan there of okay, what are you going to do?
The absolute disaster. Actually, I left my job because I wasn't enjoying it. I loved my job. And then we had this new change in management and stuff and the structure. And I was so unhappy. I didn't like the way things were going. And I just said to my husband, I said, look, let me try doing something, and he, bless him, supported me. He said, leave work, just try it, see what happens. If it doesn't happen, IT project management, you can get back in easy. So I did that, which was probably a bit of a mistake in retrospect, because then I had like no income. But, like I said, I had the backing of someone who loved and supported me and believed in me, and that makes a big difference. And I had started Professional Asian about 6 months after Recommendation, mainly because Recommendation was a women's group. And I had all these men going, why can't you let us in? We want to talk about stuff. And I was like, I don't want to talk about male stuff. I don't know how to talk about male stuff. I don't want to do like a male group. Like, I'm the wrong person. But what they did want to talk about actually was business. And there was a lot of female entrepreneurs in Recommendation as well. So I thought, okay, so let's just take this and let's just keep it business focused. So people that had businesses and could help other people. And then it became like almost like an Asian Google, I suppose, like people looking for products and services, especially around Diwali and Eid, like very Asian focused. And anybody's allowed in, that you don't have to be Asian, but it's when you're looking for that kind of understanding of Asian culture. So with Professional Asian, obviously there was this host of amazing businesses and they wanted to market themselves and everything. So my plan was to let people ask and join for free. But if you specifically wanted to market your business, then there was a membership fee. And within that membership fee, you got a lot of support from us and stuff too. It was a disaster because I had never been in a business. I didn't know what I was doing. Like it was a good idea, but you slowly realize that you have a lot of issues yourself, right? So like things like, although I had this amazing network, it was really hard just to ask for money from people that like I knew. And the amount of objections I got, and I didn't know how to handle them. People didn't realize how much work and how much effort it was in the background. And so it was like, well, why are you charging? You're serving the community. And yes, I was serving the community, but I was also serving businesses and I was serving individuals. And there was lots of money made in this network, lots of businesses reached so much potential. Even now, some people had 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of their business all come from my networks. That's huge. That is a life-changing amount for so many of the businesses that I have. So I learned a lot. It was a very steep learning curve. I wasted a lot of money. I made some money, but that first year was it was crazy because I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
There's a few different points I want to pick up there. So you said quite a lot of interesting things. And one of the things you said at the beginning about how with Recommendation being focused towards women and then Professional Asian.
Yeah.
And it's one of these interesting ideas, right? Because we want to be inclusive. But at the same time, if women are talking about domestic abuse and talking about fertility issues, they don't necessarily want men to be there. And it's less safe for them to say what they want to say. So that's where having that exclusion in some ways makes people feel more comfortable, which enables them to get the help they need.
Yeah.
So it is important, and it's working out like how to do different organizations like you did for different needs, rather than what the unique selling point of Recommendation is that community of Asian women. And that's where they're really helping each other. And what you mentioned there as well about asking your friends for money and getting grants, because obviously you're doing such amazing work.
But it was more than that. I wasn't like, they were getting something, like it was a membership. They were getting access to all these people to promote their businesses. It wasn't like I was just saying, finance me. It was like, if you are part of my membership, you can tell, however many thousands of people that you have this business and that you can be amazing for them. And some were really like on board and were just like, yeah, that's fine. That's so cheap. That's amazing. And I was like, oh, okay. And then on the other side, there's like, well, Facebook is free. So why are you charging me to like post on Facebook? And I was like, well, it's taken me a while in dedication and a lot of heart to build these communities. So yeah, it was amazing how differently people look at businesses And I mean, even I look at things differently. If I go to Wenzel's and, I see like donuts on sale for like 50p because it's the end of the day, I might buy them even though I don't really need them. But I go to a pop-up and I see a small business selling like 6 donuts for 12 quid. I'm like, yeah, give me some. Because I would never spend £12 on donuts. But I guess it's just that I really believe in supporting small businesses. And, for them, it's just a whole different meaning of life when you support them and when you buy for them. And that is actually more important to me. If you're not used to having a business and getting paid for something and you feel like you have to constantly justify yourself, or that you feel that you're being too salesy, or you're not communicating, what benefits they get, and you're not making yourself clear to them. And you don't know. It's a skill. It's actually a skill that you don't know. And I think every entrepreneur, I would imagine, goes through this, where they have this amazing idea. They have an amazing product. They have an amazing service. And they're so good in that element. They're top of their game. They're the highest quality. But, you have to be your own accountant. You have to be your own marketer. You have to be your own salesperson. And those are all different skills that help you make your business. But learning them is not easy. And when you're in at the deep end and you've just had this idea, you're like almost drowning in all the other stuff. And your amazing product or service probably takes second place because you're so busy trying to just get it out there.
And I think part of it is a tough thing when it's something which has that meaning behind it for you, because you want to support the small businesses. But at the same time, it's a business and it has to make money. Like you have to feed yourself, right? You're not just doing it just as a service to the community, because people are getting things out of it. It is helping their ROI. And it's difficult for different people to understand those different aspects of it, I think, sometimes, isn't it? What you're saying there as well is about making the messaging very clear, which I think takes a bit of time sometimes, right? Because at the beginning, you might know it in your own head, but then trying to communicate that in a certain way, it does take iteration. That's completely normal, I think. And obviously now, like where you've got to, it's much clearer and like people know what they're getting and why things are happening. So like, how did you turn it around? You said like the first year was very difficult. What things did you do to then set you on the path to where you are now?
So to set me on the path I am now, I invested in myself. So I did courses, I read a lot, I talked to a lot of people, I, had a bit of a self-discovery, and I just kind of tried to take myself away from the business and just focus on me as well. On the whole, the people that supported me, I guess I just kind of surrounded myself with them, because I think to be in a group of like naysayers is really difficult. And yeah, some people would really piss me off, I'll be honest, because I felt like they didn't understand, or they were trying to take advantage, or they didn't appreciate, or whatever I was feeling at the time. And it's very easy to just get caught up in that negative loop. And so I think I had to learn how to take myself out of it and not focus on that, and focus on stuff that was good. And I think when you're serving, Recommendation and Professional Asian has never been about me. It's always been about the people in the community. It's never been me like evangelizing about myself or trying to be, anything I'm not. I just, wanted to have people to have access to things that were amazing that they wouldn't necessarily have access to. Some of these, businesses are very hard to find on Google. But they're amazing. And so I wanted it to be about these phenomenal people, and I wanted to be about the community that can access these phenomenal people. And so I did a lot of networking, and I arranged a lot of networking, and there were people around me that really saw the value in what I was doing, and also received the value by being part of the network, and they appreciated, what I was doing. And I think that was really, it was key for my mindset, because I think when you talk to people that don't understand, they just don't get it. And then I think a lot of people make the mistake of talking to their family and friends. I mean, I did before I started the business. I was talking to a few people. One worked in like venture capital, one, worked in like kind of some IT guru type person. And I was like, what do you think? And it was like, no, that you'll never make any money off that. And I was like, you do listen to them and you just do think. But then they don't really understand. You know, you have to be in it to understand this community. You have to, you know, participate in the community to really understand how powerful people are when they get together and they communicate with each other and they're authentic and they're genuine and they're there to help. And so I guess because I was like that, I just surrounded myself with people like that. And the other thing I did was embrace who I was. I always, you know, those Myers-Briggs test you get. I was always like the people pleaser. I was always like the green. I was always like, you know, the lovely, fluffy one. Which actually in a corporate world, I'm like, I wanted to be red. I wanted to be the leadership. And I wasn't. And I didn't like myself for a long time because of that. I felt like I was like the people pleaser, like was a doormat, you know. And then I just thought, actually, you know what? This community wouldn't be what it was if I wasn't a people pleaser. Like I wanted to help people. And that's what I did. And I think that really grew the group because, like I said, it was never about me. It was always about them, which I loved. I loved seeing people's successes. I loved seeing people build businesses. You know how many businesses were started because of these groups, because it gave people the confidence, it gave them the access to other people to talk about their business. It was such a game changer that actually, you know what? It's all right being a people pleaser because lots of people are pleased and that's what makes me happy. So I think you just have to embrace who you are and just don't try and be anybody else.
There's so much I can relate to there because, so what you mentioned earlier about how surrounding yourself with people that believe in what you're doing as well, because I think it's important to get the different opinions, but it's also if people are just not seeing what you're doing, they're just putting you down. It's not a case of investing more of your time and energy in them.
No.
It's just, okay, like they don't understand. That's okay. They're just from different backgrounds, whatever it is. Whereas I think sometimes people let that anger consume them. And instead of focusing on what they want to do, they're focusing on proving that other people wrong or why don't they like my idea or oh, they're doing this. And you sometimes see on Instagram, right? People go into their stories and they have a rant about these different things. And it's good to let out your system, but it's also, if you're spending all your energy on those negative people, you're losing time away from what you want to achieve and the people you want to help. And I think that can sometimes be a flaw that sometimes happens to people, especially early in their journeys. And it comes with, as you get further on in your journey, you get a bit more secure about what you're doing. You know that it's working. But at the beginning stage, when you get these negative opinions, it can really take you off course. And with the people pleasing side as well, I've been myself a lot recently because it's a similar thing, but I think I'll often put a lot of effort into different people. And sometimes you realize that's not necessarily turned, and obviously been going through a tough time recently. I'm like, oh, like if that happened to somebody I know, I'd definitely be there for them. But it's also trying not to project how I'd react to somebody else. And in this, like the modern world, right? Communities are so important. And you're one of the earlier people to do this in like our sphere. So you were a trendsetter in that way. And before people really understood how important it is, but you go on the internet now, everybody knows that communities are really important and how much power they have. And like you said, there are people out there trying to build communities who are those red type of people, who are like trying to be assertive and all strong all the time. I was like, I don't really want to join their communities. And it's the interesting thing, the interplay between the corporate world and being an entrepreneur. The like Elon Musk style entrepreneur is very over glorified. I've talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs. I don't like the ones who are like that with me. I don't want to interact with you. I don't want to help you if you're trying to throw your weight around or I see how you're treating other people. Whereas if you are that green, that can help you get places because you can see that in people, right? You know when you talk to somebody whether or not they're actually trying to help people or if they're just trying to show how important they are. And it's also something I think a lot of entrepreneurs think about themselves. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it so you can feel self-important about like, look at me, look what I've done? Or is it because you actually care about your customers or the people you're working with? And you're 6 years in now. What do you think has changed about the business model as well to make it more sustainable? How have you got people to really understand that value?
On Facebook, there's been a lot more interest in communities from Facebook. So they've built a lot of things around it that make them easier to manage. Some good, some not so great. We spend quite a lot of time understanding how Facebook works in communities. And so what we've done in the last kind of 2-3 years is really push the educational side to our premium members. So showing them exactly, how to post, how to get the most out of their membership. So we've invested quite a lot of time into our members and make sure that they're getting the best service that they can. It's not just about posting, your business anymore. It's about everything else that we can do to help. One of the big things that we did is start Hey Gorgeous, which is a massive exhibition. So it's over 2 days. It's been going since 2017, but it's just grown and grown. And we had these amazing businesses that I'm talking about. We had around 85 to 90 of them. And we had about 6,000 people through the door at each event. And it has created somewhere you can go and you can touch and you can feel, you can smell, you can meet the entrepreneurs, the people behind this business. Because one thing I really, really believe is people buy people. When you relate to someone, you love them, you love their products. It's just, you have a customer for life, right? And so it's given entrepreneurs the opportunity to really engage with the customers that love what they do. That being in the physical world has been exceptional for everybody, for us, for everybody. As a team, so I've grown the team. So we have 2 Renas, a Ronnie, a Renu, Natasha and Arti, and Amit. We've grown the team so that we're all on the same page. We're all very similar in terms of we want to build other people up. We want to help people. We all have that same mindset. As a team, we've really bonded, and I've put a lot of effort into, we've been away on away days. We go, for dinner. We really socialize and we work together. They really care on a different level. And I think the more we get to know our members and the more we care and the better the group becomes and the community becomes, because, it's like we got your back. We want to be your cheerleaders. It's not about us, it's about you. And I think when you come from a place of serving, it's a game changer. When it's not about you and it's about them, no matter who your customer is, it's a game changer.
Yeah, I love that. I want to come back to your team in a moment, but with the Hey Gorgeous events, I went to the latest one.
Did you?
It was when was it?
Byron
September?
Hall.
Yeah.
I didn't see you there.
Well, the BHQ hadn't launched yet, so I was mainly doing, the brand was mainly American, I guess, at that point. So I came because I knew a few of the exhibitors, so I came by mainly to say hi to them.
I'm so pleased you came.
Yeah, so it's like, I was going to say, it's an amazing event. Yeah. It was really great, event. And obviously I go to lots of these different kind of events and stuff. And what it showed is that you put the time into planning. It looked very professional. Sometimes you go to these events, they don't seem very professional. It gives a certain vibe. Whereas you turn up at your event and straight away it's there's people at the front door. There's all the stalls look amazing. You can see the footfall. You can see everybody's interested and talk to a lot of different entrepreneurs there as well. And what was it like to put that first event together? Because I imagine that's a big deal to put on something on that scale, but also actually execute it well.
So the first event was in 2017. And at the end of 2016, I'd met this lady called Harry from Black Cubed, which is like a kind of funky home interiors, Eastern inspired gifts type business. I'd seen her on my group, so I recognized her name, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm from Recommendation. And she was like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. And then we just started talking and became really good friends. And she said we should do a pop-up. And I was like, actually, I'd quite like to do that. But again, I just started. I didn't know what I was doing. And it's weird how things happen when you're in a place of service and that mindset and you want to do right by people. Things just happen out of the blue. The right people come to you at the right time. The right opportunities come to you at the right time. I really strongly believe that, when you're helping people, you will get helped. And I think Hey Gorgeous was just one of those cases that I met Harry at the right time. I got a phone call about something completely unrelated to Hey Gorgeous. It's something to do with a group. And it was an issue that was raised. And the person that called me said, oh, there's a bit of an incorrect thing on Professional Asian. Could you help me out? And he happened to be in the events business. And I was like, oh, while you're on the phone, do you know any venues? And we got a venue. He got us a venue and he's like, oh, I'm happy to sponsor you. And I was like, awesome. So that was at Avari Events. So Upesh helped us put this show on. He helped us get the venue. He helped us get food. It was just amazing. And then we had about 40 exhibitors and we had maybe 1,500 people come through the door. And it was at the Hive. Camrose Avenue was like backed up solid. Like people couldn't even get into the venue. Like it was crazy. And then actually although it was amazing show, we did it again. And I found Upesh a little bit bossy. So I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with this. And at the same time, Harry said to me, oh, I can't do this because my other business, she does like a interiors thing. That's really taking up a lot of my time. And then Upesh said, oh, I'll do it with you. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, but I love this thing and I need to do it. So, okay, let's try it. And then, so Harry left and me and Upesh went into a partnership and actually set it all up properly, like Hey Exhibitions, and started working together. Oh my God, best partnership ever. I literally, from something that I was so unsure about, everything just conspired to make this just amazing. So when you say it was professionally done, I have to credit him because he sets up Hey Gorgeous. We're in Byron Hall now, which is like twice the size of the old venue. It just looks amazing. And I concentrate on like the people, getting the exhibitors in, making them happy, making sure that people actually turn up to the event, the marketing, and he does all the logistics. And it's the perfect balance.
I was really hoping there that you were going to say that Upesh was great in the end, because it's like, are we going to have to edit this out if you're just saying his book?
Oh my God, it could be fantastic. Yeah. Honestly, I'm so blessed because it's weird. It's weird how alike we are and weird how completely different we are as well. It's like I hate the stuff that he does. I am not interested in like all the kind of tech stuff and the, logistics, and I just can't be doing with it. And he doesn't like any of the stuff he doesn't like doing the stuff that I do.
So you mentioned earlier as well about how your team has the same values as you and how they all care so much about serving people. How did you find this kind of people? Because I'm sure there's some people listening right now who are looking to expand their teams and they're really struggling to find the right people. Where did you find these people?
They kind of gravitated towards me. I don't think I purposely went out and found them. I think that we just had conversations offline and it just gelled, it just worked, and they were happy to help me. So it's only like recently that I've been able to kind of, reach that point where I can afford to pay everybody. But a lot of it was just for the love of it at the start. None of us were getting paid. I mean, they've been with me through thick and thin. Apart from Ronnie, she was on maternity leave. And I'm like, when you're breastfeeding on one side, can you just, go on your phone on the other and interact a bit and engage a bit? I describe it like a dance floor. Like the first few people to get on the dance floor, it's quite hard to get them on. But once a few people are on, then everyone else kind of joins in and has a good time.
So podcast is exactly that, right? Now we've had the people who've had on, everybody wants to come on.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, right? So, and I guess it was like that with the community with Ronnie, and because, I trusted her.
So it comes across like how much you enjoy what you're doing now. Like, what's the bits that you love the most? Like, what's the most exciting bits for you so far?
There's lots. There's lots. Every day, I love the fact that people are so giving of their advice, whether it's on Recommendation or Professional Asian. I love the fact that somebody can post about whatever they need, and there will be like 5, 10, 20, 100 people telling them like where to go or how to do it, or advice or support, or just like keep your chin up. It could just be as simple as that. So I love the fact that people are genuinely there to help other people. Like that is gratifying every day. The other thing I love is seeing people's journeys. Like I love seeing people that have joined us with like an idea or an inkling or like a business that they don't really know where to take. And like a year, 6 months, a year, 2 years later, they're like flying. They're spending money on like, this marketing and that. And I'm like, wow, what happened? But and it was us that happened. Like I love that. Like it's like the biggest thrill in the world. And sometimes like we do Instagram sessions and we do like Shiv does a business strategy session with our members. So we have things going on constantly to help people. And you see when they've taken on the advice and you see like, wow, look where you've got to. Look at your Instagram now. It's on fire. Like who would have thought? Can't even put a price on it, honestly.
Yeah, I love that. And like, what's the like vision now? Because like, obviously you've done so much already. Is there anything you're really excited about for the future? Like, is there any, if people are like following you, what they might see like in a year's time or in a few years' time, what's a big dream you have?
Short term, we're planning Hey Gorgeous for the next March now. So that's always exciting and like trying to do different things and innovate every time. And long term, I think everything's on Facebook right now and I'd quite like to get it off Facebook and have like a directory of stuff. So we're just working on a few things now. I should take my own advice, as in nothing is ever going to be perfect. So I'm procrastinating quite a lot because I don't think anything's perfect, but we'll get there. So hopefully 2023 will have everything.
I think this is something a lot of people underestimate, is that like people look from the outside, they can see like how much you've achieved with recommendation, but you're still obviously human. You still procrastinate. I procrastinate. Every entrepreneur I've ever met procrastinates. And that's what I think is quite reassuring for the listeners, is that if you procrastinate too, then you're just like everybody else.
Oh my God, I'm like the worst. Honestly, I have like some of the worst habits. In fact, my worst habit is that I can't form habits.
But you're happy anyway.
I am happy because I think what I have, so many people are like, oh God, you're sitting on gold mine. And I just think maybe I am, but anyone that says this is what you should do, this is what you should do with your group, with this, I always feel like they don't understand like keeping the integrity of the group. Like they don't get it. They don't understand that I don't want to sit there constantly selling to people. That's not what I'm about. I want to raise people, and the people that want to be raised can come to me, and and the membership fee is like nothing in the grander scheme of things. I mean, we priced it so that you get one good customer or one good sale, then you've got your ROI already. Everything else is just gravy. It's not about the money always. It's about, being genuine, having a balance with my life. I've got 2 kids. I've got a husband, my parents. There's so many people around and there's so many things that I would do. So I think like it's been great because I can have that. I can pay a team now. I can, spend time with my husband. I can spend time with the children. The only thing I haven't been able to do is go on holiday, but that will come.
2023, let's hope.
Yeah. And I get to meet phenomenal people every day. So
I feel like there's so much more we can cover. So we're going to have to get you on again next year.
Yeah.
So we get you around for round 2 again.
Okay.
But looking at time, we're going to move on to the quick fire questions. The first one is, who are 3 British Asians that you think are doing great work that people should be paying attention to?
First one is Seema Danak from V2S Empowerment. She has been instrumental, I would say, in helping our members through any domestic abuse issues. And I think we don't talk about it enough in society. And, there's a road. It's a really hard, long, difficult journey. And she is with you on the kind of practical side all the way, like what paperwork do you have to fill out, how, what council person do you need to talk to, all that kind of practical stuff. She's given her time to so many women for so long and just made a complete difference in people's lives. So V2S Empowerment is one. The second one, there's 2 reasons. One, I've worked with her myself and she's helped me come out of like a bit of a funk. And her name is Jazz Bamra from Jazz Bamra Hypnotherapy. She does the rapid transformational therapy. Honestly, I was in such a bad place. And within a week, I feel like my life turned around with her. But it's more than that. She's just released a book called My Grief Journal for people that have experienced loss. And it's such a beautiful book. Like, I think when you experience loss, you go through so many different emotions and anger and why and resentment, and you're angry with God and you're angry with them, and then you miss them and you feel sorrowful. And this journal just helps you capture what you're feeling, but also really good memories, and makes you think about, happy times and kind of provoke like good thoughts. And it's just, you don't want to talk about it with your friends and your family all the time. Sometimes you just need to be, and this is something you can be with. And I think it's a really important part of grieving, and I'm really proud of her for doing that. And the final one is a charity called Go Dharmic that we work with on Professional Asian, and they're doing so much when it comes to not only feeding people and going out and helping people and helping communities, but the environment. And like they've done a massive program on ahimsa, and just such nice people, that believe in so much what they're doing, and dharma and all that kind of stuff. And I just always surprised at how on it they are, and how many people they have in the community, and the volunteers that help them, and the work they do. It's just super amazing. So Go Dharmic.
Awesome. And then the next one is, if people could reach out to you for help, what should they reach out to you for help about?
So just joining the community, but we've also got a hub in Northwood. So if you're feeling a bit lonely, or, you're an entrepreneur that has, they're at home and, they're surrounded by laundry and they can't focus, which happens to a lot of us, you can come into Northwood, you can co-work with us, you can come to our workshops, you can just help yourself to, and we'll help you help yourself too. I think we're just there to support. So anything you need, just give us a shout, really.
That's lovely. So then, what's something that you're looking for help for at the moment, or what recommendation needs help with?
I think next year what I would really like to do is help educate women. There's some really amazing experts out there. So I've spoken to a couple of people like Dr. Ravina and Mira Manik and people like that. And I would love them to come and talk to the community about, what they're doing, and about health and well-being and, positivity, and anything that anyone can offer that is going to help women empower themselves. So I don't want anyone that's just there to sell a business or sell something. I want someone that is genuinely interested in building women up and educating them in things that they might not know, or that might be a bit taboo to talk about. So I would like people like that to work with.
So thank you so much for coming on today. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Have you got any final words?
I think believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, keep positive people around you. And it's okay if things go wrong. It's not the end of the world. You can always come back from stuff, and just be cognizant of what's happening around you. Sometimes it's all right to be a bit reactive. Be a bit proactive, be a bit reactive, and just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy it and serve, and you'll be fine.
Thank you for listening to the Bay HQ podcast today. In our mission to inspire, connect, and guide the next generation of British Asian entrepreneurs, it would mean so much to us if you could subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share this with your friends.